Welcome to West Country Wanderings and welcome to a short bite in my railway series. Indeed, this one will be very short. I don't have much in the way of answers for you, but I pose a question. As you can see there, this is private land that we're going on. It's part of railwaypaths.org.uk, but it is accessible, so it's a permissive path. That up there takes us onto a railway track. We're in the county of Worcestershire. In fact, I've just been finishing off a video just over the other side of the railway track, 2 fields away, takes you into the county of Gloucestershire. I was looking at a deserted village over there. I'll link to that one at the end of this one so you can see what is over there. But what I'm interested in, it's what on top of here. Yeah, I know a railway, but a little bit more than a railway, and it's a little bit of a story. I'll tell you some more, but if you do know more, I'd love to hear from you. Please drop a comment below. So yeah, I'll explain a little bit more about it and exactly where we are. What I can most definitely see here, bits there of coal. So yes, it's littered with it on both sides of the embankment here. So where are we? Yeah, we're in Worcestershire. This line is obviously a closed line, but if you follow my railway series, you'll be familiar with other parts of it, because this is the line that once went from Cheltenham Spa in Gloucestershire to Stratford-upon-Avon in Warwickshire, what is now the heritage line that is the Gloucestershire and Warwickshire Steam Railway. But this is a section that's not currently in use. This is a section that's north of the town of Broadway in Worcestershire, before it gets to the junction at Honeybourne. Honeybourne, in fact the church Honeybourne is about a mile just over my shoulder there. But it's this, what is going on here? Let me tell you some more. Gosh, this place is littered and littered with coal all over it, of course ballast as well. But just how long this is. So I'm on the track bed now. This is going from one side of it to the other. This isn't going north-south from Stratford to Cheltenham direction, but this is going across. Now, what do you notice as we go across? So I know it was double track width, of course, but we're still going across it now. We're still going across the embankment, and we're still going across the embankment. So yes, it's very, 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 very wide. We're still going across the embankment. We're going to be coming up to a load of ballast in a moment. And yeah, so there's the ballast. Now that, in that direction, takes you down to Broadway, which is the current end of the GWSR operations on the Heritage Line. And this way here takes you up to Honeybourne, where the Cheltenham to Stratford line met the Cotswold line. That's the line between Worcester and Oxford. There is a station there which reopened in the early 1980s. Well, it closed obviously in the 60s, reopened in the 80s as just like a one platform. Now it's 2 platforms, very well used by trains going between Worcester, Oxford and London on the Cotswold line. But it's this area here just wasn't a 2-track operation. Well, it was initially when the railway opened at the early part of the 20th century, but later, much later, something changed. So that's the end of our embankment there. That's looking back into the county of Gloucestershire, striking up in a northward direction towards the most northerly village in Gloucestershire, which is Mickleton. So we're just a little bit south of Stratford-upon-Avon here. We're about 7 or 8 miles south of Stratford-on-Avon in Warwickshire. Now as I'm walking along here, I'm actually looking for clues. And obviously what we can see here isn't so much the coal that we saw, but here we can see the ballast. But I'm actually looking for something else. Now I'm going to insert a map now that was taken in 1964 from the Ordnance Survey, and you can see here was something known as Honeybourne West Loop. Now normally a loop is 1 or 2 tracks which kind of go around the main line to enable slower trains to pass. So in effect giving you from double track to 4 track just for a short section, so they can pull in like a bypass, a lay-by if you like, for trains. And that was what was here. But if you look at the map, that's not any old lay-by, is it? Any old passing loop. It's much wider. It looks like there was actually 12 tracks here as opposed to 2. So what was going on? See here, we've got much smaller pieces of coal. Loads and loads of them down here on the ground. I'm just going to follow it along here a little bit further. I don't know for how long you can walk on this track bed in the direction of Honeybourne. So this isn't a lost railway walk, it's just a poser of a question of this interesting thing when I was researching something else and came across the map of this area and wondered why this was so wide. And I dug around in books that I've got on the GWSR, looked at the Wikipedia for Honeybourne station, nothing in there, nothing to tell you about the layout of Honeybourne, which is quite a complex layout. And it's still obviously a branch going off to Long Marston, which we looked at, the depot there, Porterbrook Railway Centre. But it was just here, there was so much. In fact, it goes off in that direction, so we're following the track up here. We've got tracks going off in this direction too. So what have I found out about this? Well, not a lot. In fact, the only thing I found out is a hand-drawn diagram. I can't even remember how I found it. And somebody there has drawn the line of this. So it doesn't tell you on the OS map, it just shows the additional lines which I'm walking on at the moment, like a giant marshalling yard. And somebody's drawn the area of the Honeybourne station site, got this on here with the signal box and the platforms and everything, and put a little arrow in at the position of Honeybourne West Loop. And the arrow simply says iron ore sidings of 1959. That's literally all I know. So iron ore sidings here, just to the south of Honeybourne. Oh, my camera stuck around a tree then. And put in 1959, was late, of course. The line closed for passengers in the 60s, beaching cuts, and it closed to freight in 1976. So in terms of freight, you've got from 1959-60, so literally just 17 years of use for these sidings, which was something to do with iron ore. Now, of course, begs the question, where did the iron ore come from? It's certainly not round here because it's all agriculture. I'm not aware of any iron ore mining in the median vicinity of Mickleton, Chipping Campden or Honeybourne. Not unless you know different, and please feel free to enlighten me on that. But all around here they have these iron ore sidings. Now there is one place I do know potentially there may have been. I'm currently reading a book about a nearby railway line that's also no longer used, called the Cheltenham to Banbury railway line. So you can just see how wide it is. It goes right out over there on that side. This is the main kind of spine of the line, striking up to Honeybourne here. But it's just enormous. For 2 tracks. Well, obviously it's not 2 tracks. There's a lot more than 2 tracks. Now I think I've found something, which is what I've been looking for. And it's this, which kind of proves a point about that being right. So we've seen ballast, we've seen coal earlier on, and now we've got this, ladies and gentlemen. And I think that is a piece of iron ore. So yes, that's our iron ore. So we definitely had iron ore here in this area, which proves that that diagram, that hand-drawn diagram, was indeed correct. But as I say, where was it coming from? Potentially, possibly a place called Kingham, which is a junction station for the line coming out of Cheltenham, striking in an easterly direction towards Banbury in Oxfordshire. And in and around Kingham there may have been some iron ore workings. So was the iron ore coming from there to here along the Cotswold line and then being marshalled up in this area at West Honeybourne Loop, and thence to go on to, well, where? I'm not sure. Potentially it could have gone on to South Wales, or striking up further north from Stratford into the heart of the West Midlands, into the Black Country, and beyond into the East Midlands and into the north. That's all speculation on my part. I just don't know. So I'm really hoping that somebody watching this video will give me a fuller picture of the purpose. Well, we know the purpose. We've just seen some iron ore there. We know there was iron ore here. But why were the sidings put at this exact spot here on the West Honeybourne Loop here in Worcestershire, on the old Cheltenham Spa to Stratford-upon-Avon line? Now, if I do get a comment on this, I'll give you an update in my monthly vlog, of course. And yeah, love to hear from you. So that's it for today here on West Country Wanderings from the former line from Cheltenham Spa to Stratford-on-Avon near the Worcestershire village of Honeybourne and the former junction there. Love to know your thoughts. Got any more information about these former iron ore sidings here? Love to hear from you. Thank you very much for watching today, and there'll be another short bite and also be another railway series on the channel in the not too distant future. Thanks for watching today. Take care of yourselves. Bye for now.